Hey, hello everybody, it's your man, Minnesota's DJ Samo here. Going to be talking about how to read the crowd and what does reading the crowd actually mean. I know there's some videos out there that try to address it, but they don't usually hit the mark quite like they need to for us mobile DJs, so.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. DJ Samo.
Alright, reading the crowd, what does that mean? Like I said, most videos I've seen out there, they kind of glaze over it, or they're more geared towards like the EDM or club DJs. Not really good for us mobile or wedding DJs out there, so. A little history about myself, in case you don't know. I've been DJing since 2010. I've done countless bar shows and weddings over the years, and held down a few like house DJs at a couple of bars during my tenure there. So, and I tell you, reading the crowd is one of the most important skills that you can have, and it's one that you have to practice on. In this video, I'll kind of be focusing on reading the crowd in a bar pub setting. I'll talk you through to one of my typical bar shows, how they run. And hopefully after watching this video, and I hope you guys do the homework assignment at the end of the video that I got for you. It's pretty fun to do. I like doing it all the time. You'll be able to help develop and sharpen your skills by doing that. A lot of this stuff will also carry over to weddings also. So, without further ado, the things I will cover in this video are knowing the customer flow of the bar, volume level, and basic music choices. So, I'm going to cover one of my typical bar shows here for you. Most of my bar shows are 4-hour sets, and they usually run from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. I have a couple bars once in a while that go from 10 to 2, but the flow is pretty much identical. It's just that the hours are shifted back a little bit. So, at most bars, I'll usually have two different crowds that I'll be DJing for. The crowd I start with, which is the 30 to 50-year-olds, and then I'll have another secondary crowd, which will be the 20 to 40-year-olds. Usually call that my starting crowd and the crowd I'll be ending the night with. So when I walk into a venue or a bar, first thing I do is, I find a bar manager and ask him if it's okay to set up already. And as I'm doing that, walking in there, I'm kind of reading the crowd. And while I'm setting up, I'm also reading the crowd. And what I am looking for is I'm looking for the crowd's age. I'm looking at their gender. I'm looking at their ethnicity, and I'm also listening to what's being played on the jukebox while I'm setting up. Because I know this is going to be my starting crowd for the night. And like I said, most of the time, these people are usually in their 30s to 50s. And I know these people aren't going to stick around the whole night. Usually, if I can keep them there, they're going to stay extra hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes. So being their usually 30 to 50-year-olds, means I'll probably be starting out with some music in the 70s, 80s, and some 90s. Usually ends up being a lot of 80s pop and rock, with a little bit of country from the 80s and 90s thrown in there. And I'm also going to be keeping my volume level around 50%. Because the starting crowd, they're usually not there to dance. They're there to converse and socialize with their friends and stuff after a hard week at work. And one of the things, too, with the first crowd that you're going to have there, your first song, one that you're going to start the night out, is kind of crucial. That's the one that's going to say, let the starters know if they're going to bounce, finish their drinks, and leave, or if they're going to stick around for another couple drinks. And I know they're not going to stick around for long, but I know they are very important to play to. You want to keep them around as long as you can. And here's why I'll tell you why it's important to keep them there. When you're DJing in a bar or pub setting, if you can keep them there an extra hour or two, that means they're going to buy an extra drink or two. And that extra drink or two, that is going to pay the bar. That's going to cover your costs, what you're charging the bar. So if you can get them to stick around for an extra drink or two, what you charge the bar is already paid for and covered. So you don't even have anything after that, the bar will probably be making money off of. Now, there's one exception to playing to the starter crowds that are from 30 to 50-year-olds. Is when Sometimes your late night crowd, the 20 to 40-year-olds, they will come in earlier than expected. And usually when this happens, you got to immediately switch over to some dance tracks right away and bring your volume level up from half to about 2/3. Don't go full volume. Save that for later in the night. Helps give a little extra energy boost. I'm going to give you guys a quick little quiz. Quick. So, normal crowd is up there, normal starting crowd, the 30 to 50-year-olds. And they decided you were playing good music and they're staying for an extra couple of drinks. It's okay to kind of stop reading the crowd from there thinking you're doing a good job. Give you time to answer that. I think you guys know the answer already, though. That's false. Reading the crowd really does not stop until you have pretty much packed up and are ready to leave the bar at the end of the night. I'm going to go jump back to knowing the flow of the bar here real quick. It's 10:15 and my starting crowd is finishing up their drinks and they're about starting to head out. And I know that my ending crowd is going to be showing up and start to trickle in already in about 15 minutes. So at about 10:15 at night, I am starting to transition my music over to some modern dance music, usually anything from the early 2000s to present day. I'm also going to bring my volume level up from about half to either 3/4 or 2/3, depending on how fast they're trickling in there. You don't want to max your volume out quite yet. Your younger crowd that is just getting there, they want to socialize with their friends for a little bit, get a couple of drinks. And remember, bars, drinks are usually come first and everything else is second. And a little side note, reading the crowd, like I was mentioning, volume, knowing when to turn it up and when to turn it down. A big part of reading the crowd and knowing how to keep them there and not annoy them. So now it's a normal night. It's about 10:50. The younger crowd are starting to make their way to the dance floor a little bit. Usually by 11 o'clock at my shows, the dance floor is starting to get going pretty strong. And this is the point where I line up one of my best bangers that are going to get the crowd really popping and hopping. And that's when I kind of go to full volume. And then usually from there, I'm reading the crowd for the end of the night and stuff like that. I'll give you a pop quiz again. So, like I just said, I got the dance floor popping. I can stop paying attention to the crowd. Another true or false. I think you guys know the answer is false. What you're looking for now from 11 to midnight when your dance floor is popping, you're looking for the energy level of the crowd. Do they have big smiles on their faces, or do they look like they're getting bored with the song or genre of music? And a lot of times you might have to fast mix. I've done that, do that quite a few times. And a lot of times, too, you might have to switch genres of music. I usually kind of got that set up in my list already, my playlist. Usually around 11:30 at night, I usually switch up genres of music on them because they're just kind of starting to lose a little bit of energy. They're getting bored of the same stuff. So I'll switch it up for probably about 6 songs. I'll do usually 3 songs of country and 3 songs of some 80s or 90s rock. And then I'll bring it back to the dance floor hits after that and bring that to close at the end of the night at 1 o'clock. That's usually how most of my shows go. I usually get encores at the end of the night. So, and it's just a good time and feel really good. Here's some tips and tricks for you guys, and I'll give you some things to watch out for here. One of the things to be really aware of, and I haven't had this happen in quite a while, but when I first was starting DJing, this happened to me 2 times, and I made a mental note of it. I made sure make sure it didn't happen again. Beware of a packed dance floor with no energy. If you have a packed dance floor with energy, you pretty much have a dead dance floor. What I found out is there's certain songs that people, they love to dance to, but it just drains the energy of the crowd. And what I usually find up happening too is that these songs will tend to agitate the crowd a little bit, and they'll get a little kind of restless and moody. And I've seen some pretty interesting things happen with those songs. Um, I actually, like I said, I call it music psychology, a little bit, that part. And I'll dive deeper into that little aspect in another video. But I'm going to show you here a couple of the songs that you probably, if you're going to play them, don't spread them out through the night. Don't play them back to back. And if you do play them back to back, only do like 2 songs at a time. And then come out with a high energy 128 plus beat or better, or just switch the genre of music altogether. So I'll show you what those look like here. As you can see, Gas Pedal Stage by the Gemini, The Motto, the original one by Drake and Lil Wayne, a lot of stuff by Tyga, that one ASAP Rocky song by Drake and 2 Chainz, stuff to kind of, I can't say don't play them. If you do play them very sparingly throughout the night. Those are the ones. There's some about the bass and the way them songs hit. It kind of gives a negative connotation to the song and just kind of starts agitating people. I don't know what it is, but it just just try to watch out for those. Another thing to look for is watch for the woo gals that come into the bar. The woo gals are going to be probably your best friends and best gauge of how the whole crowd is. And they're probably going to come in, they're going to start hooping and hollering. They'll be ones that, probably the first ones on your dance floor. And they're going to be a good, like I said, good gauge of how your dance floor is going. But don't just focus on them. Also kind of glance around, see how everybody else is doing, not just the woo gals. But yeah, it'll be a good indicator of when to switch out or switch genres. Another thing too, with reading the crowd is, like I said, it doesn't stop after you're done with the night. After you're done and you played the last song, you're going to still read the crowd a little bit as they're leaving. You want to kind of, if you can, thank them for coming out and see if they have smiles on their faces and stuff like that, or if they got frowns. And take mental notes and, stuff that, go through the night that you could have probably done better and stuff like that. And a couple other quick tips here. Remember, you won't please everybody up at a bar or pub or even a wedding, but you're there to play for the majority of the crowd and try and please the majority. I have some song requests and stuff like that. I'll deny it through the night because I know it's going to kill the energy. And when you deny a song request, be honest with the guest. If they request a song that will kill a dance floor, example, 99% of heavy metal music will just kill a dance floor, I just tell them I'm not playing that song or genre of music. It's not the type of energy I'm going for the night. So, and they might kind of bicker with you a little bit, but I usually tell them after that, it's not bad music. I love some of them songs and bands myself, but it's stuff I'm going to listen to in my car. If I'm having a little house party or garage party, I'll throw that on there, but it's not going to be for DJ night up at the bar where you're trying to bring a dance floor crowd in and keep it going. Another thing, don't pigeonhole your crowds or assume that certain crowds are going to always want this sort of music, this type of music or this type of genre from this decade or this decade. A lot of the younger crowd, especially with Spotify and Tidal and all the music streaming services, they love the older music. And a lot of the older crowd, they got kids or grandkids, and they're listening to some of their music, and they're digging it. So be surprised what you can kind of get away with. So don't always just assume that just because they're in their 50s, they want to listen to Led Zeppelin all the time. You might be surprised. They might be into a little Drake or something like that. You'd be surprised. Here comes the homework part for you guys. A lot of these bars, they'll have a thing called touch tunes jukeboxes, and there is an app you can download on your phone where you can actually play off your phone into the jukebox. And I do this a lot, so I'll go to different bars, and I suggest you guys do this too. Download the app, see what's playing on there, see what the crowd is dancing to or listening to, if they're bobbing their heads, tapping their feet. A lot of times they'll be singing along or dancing with the songs. And what's nice about the app too, it'll tell you what songs are being played and what's just been played. So I'll even throw a few of my own songs in that I want to hear. If there's a new song out there, I'll throw that in and see how the people are actually vibing to it, if they're vibing good or if they're just kind of like, it's overplayed, I don't want to hear it anymore. One last major tip. Remember, no matter how good your show was, there is always room for improvement. After every show, I kind of go through and make mental notes in the back of my head. Could I done this different? Could I done that a little bit different? Just be constructive about it and ways to constructively improve your next show. With that being said, on my next video, I will dive a little bit deeper into like music programming, and I'll actually bring up a set list from one of my typical bar shows. So I'll go through that, and otherwise, yeah, keep the party rocking, guys, and we'll see you next time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. DJ Samo.